Here's a rational division, very similar to rational multiplication, so I'm just going to cover both concepts in one example. First off, when you have a fraction divided by a fraction, you leave the first fraction alone, you change the division into multiplication, and you take the second fraction and you reciprocate it. Take the bottom, put it on the top, take the top and put it on the bottom. Alright, so let's get it in the right order first. So just rewriting things. And while we're rewriting, we probably could factor certain things. Like for instance, this trinomial has a common factor of y, so I'll pull it out. And that leaves, the x squared minus 9x plus 20. We're going to change the division into multiplication and then flip the second fraction. Well, while we're flipping it, this bottom trinomial has a common factor of 3. So I'll kick out the 3, and that'll leave me with x squared plus 2x minus 35. All over the 12x. Alright, so now we have it in the right order. We have it with easier to deal with operation. But we still have to factor a few of these things, specifically these trinomials. So let's factor them. So 4x squared on the top, the y is still on the bottom. Factors of 20 that add up to 9. Well, that would be 5 and 4. And since we're adding, they have to be the same sign. And since it's a minus 9, a negative 9, they're both going to be minus. Times. Alright, so this one's going to be 3 times factors of 35 that subtract up to 2. Well, factors of 35 that subtract up to 2 would be 5 and 7. So we'll get an x and a 5 and an x and a 7. And the sign is going to have to be positive on the 7 because we're ending up with a positive 2 and minus on the 5. All over the 12x. And now we can start reducing. Literally what happens is with multiplication, since you're just multiplying straight across the top and straight across the bottom, you get this idea that really dealing with just one huge fraction. So if there's any factor in the top and a common factor in the bottom, we're going to reduce that down to 1, cancel it. Alright, so let's start off with the 4 here. 4 goes into 12 3 times, and into itself, by the way, 1 time. Oh look, this 3 is going to go into this 3 and leave behind a factor of 1. This x minus 5 is going to cancel with that x minus 5 and leave a 1 behind. This x will go into itself 1 time, and it'll go into this x squared x times. Alright, so what are we left with in the top? A 1, an x, a 1, a 1, and an x plus 7. So after getting, 1 times x is x, we're going to have an x and that x plus 7 in the numerator, all over this factor of y times x minus 4. And that's as far as we can go with this reduction.